Alright guys, time for the lower tier. We've already done the other 7, so you know who you are. I'm going to start off with House of Pain. Mike is new to the league. I think he actually did very, very well with the team that he had. I think he did good for drafting. He has a lot of people with a good upside, but I think there's just way too many question marks to think that he's going to challenge for a playoff spot this year with as many solid teams that there are out there. Where he's strongest is probably at receiver. He's got Greg Jennings, the #1 receiver for Aaron Rodgers. Like I said, anybody on Green Bay, good pick this year. Steve Smith out of Carolina. Fuck if I know what Steve Smith is going to do this year. Whether he's going to be the #1 or the #2 Steve Smith in the league, I have no idea. I definitely think he's one of the 7 best receivers in the league, but that doesn't matter in fantasy. He's got Matt Moore throwing to him, and if Matt Moore doesn't cut it, you're going to see Jimmy Clausen coming in there and throwing the ball around, and that's not going to help his fantasy value. In his flex spot, he's got Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs is not even the starter. He picked up Brandon Jacobs before when he could have took him out Bradshaw. Bradshaw is the starter on the Giants. He might not have known that yet. He's going to have to definitely fill that in. I don't think it's going to be a giant deal because he does have Wes Welker. Wes Welker is great. He's never going to be a top 10 receiver unless if you're a PPR league. We're not a PPR league, so he's not a top 10 receiver. But he can definitely get you points and keep them in games. His running backs, Rashawn Mendenhall and LaShawn McCoy. I don't like McCoy at all this year in Philly's offense. I definitely think defenses are going to be stacking the box, forcing Kolb to beat them. Maybe later in the year, once Kolb shows what he's got, if he does, you're going to see McCoy come out of his shell a little bit. Mendenhall. I like Mendenhall. I think he's a solid back. I don't think he's a top 10 back. And as a #1 back on his team, having a running back that's not top 10, I definitely think is really, really hurts your team. I'm old school. I like the power runners. We'll see how it works out. Mendenhall could be, but especially with the Roethlisberger out, I don't see it happening. In quarterback, he's got a big question mark. Flacco. Flacco's got a giant arm. We all know this. But he doesn't show up in big games, and he's really streaky. He averaged just over 10 points a game last year. With the addition of Anquan Bolden, I definitely think he's going to get up there, maybe top 15. I don't see him jumping into the top 8. I just think there's way too many good quarterbacks above him. Now, he also has Jason Witten. Jason Witten, household name, everybody loves him. He's a great tight end. But last year, he was the #8 tight end. He's going to keep falling, guys. As Tony Romo gets more and more weapons around him, the less and less is going to go to Jason Witten, and the more and more people are going to focus on him. Sorry. The more and more people are going to focus on him, so the less and less they're going to go to him. That was better. He also picked up Derek Anderson, quarterback. I'm not even going to comment on that. I don't know why anybody would pick up Derek Anderson on their team unless if it has about 20 people in the league. Other than that, I think there needs to be a lot of things that go right with him. I think a lot of his question marks have to hit for him to be able to make a playoffs. I don't see it happening. I see House of Pain finishing around 7th or 8th in the league this year. We'll see how he keeps building. Next on the list, we got the Asian sensation Teddy Ballgame, Mr. Quiet during the draft. Just made a trade with Wembley to acquire Sims Walker and C.J. Spiller. Sims Walker is one of the most underrated receivers in the league. The guy gets it done. He's actually a lot better at home than he is away. If you look at his points at home, he's averaging way above 10 points per game. You're looking at him on the road, he's averaging under 7. So if you take that into account, maybe you start him home games, take him out on away games. I don't know. C.J. Spiller, I love C.J. Spiller. He looked great in preseason, but how many carries is he going to get? It's a 3 running back backfield. You just don't know when he's going to blow up. He's got Brett Favre as quarterback. Chances of Brett Favre having the same year as he did last year, slim to none. I don't think Brett Favre is finishing in the top 10 quarterbacks this year. He's got Beanie Wells, Ronnie Brown, and Marion Barber as his running backs. Beanie Wells is a fumble machine, and he's going to start off as a starter in Arizona. We don't know if he's going to finish there. He has great talent. He's definitely the most talented out of the two backs with him and Hightower. But the problem is he does fumble. He turns the ball over, and Whisenhunt will drop him down once he starts doing that. He'll become the second number 2 back, and you don't want, as your number 1 running back on your fantasy team, you don't want a guy who's a question mark of being the starter, and you don't want a guy in a platoon with definitely a 50-50 or a 60-40 split in carries. Ronnie Brown out of Miami as the number 2 running back, I absolutely love him. He got hurt last year. Miami likes to run the ball, and they like to give it to Ronnie Brown. Bottom line, he's going to score touchdowns. He's going to give you points. Barring injury, Ronnie Brown is going to be a top 15 back. It's a good pickup. Marion Barber out of Dallas. Marion Barber is going to get less and less carries as those speedsters and cutters keep getting more. Marion Barber is going to finish out of the top 20 of running backs again. I'm thinking more Johnny Knox. Johnny Knox in his bench is going to be in that flex spot instead of Marion Barber come maybe even week 2, week 3 once he realizes this. Vincent Jackson is a big key to Teddy Ballgame's plan. He picked up Vincent Jackson way earlier than pretty much anybody else would. I think he got him around the 6th round. Vincent Jackson is obviously a better receiver than that. It all depends on if he plays. If he plays, it's gonna help him be that middle tier team, having that stud receiver. If he doesn't, he's going to be in the dregs of the league. He's going to finish around 9th or 10th. Dallas Clark at tight end is his strongest position. Dallas Clark is a stud. He's going to be number 1, number 2, or number 3 tight end. He's going to give you close to 10 points a game. You can't beat that. Steve Smith out of the Giants. He helped Wembley to a championship last year. He's going to be a solid player and a solid receiver. Manning loves throwing to him. He's going to give him a lot of points. For that, I think Ballgame can be competitive. I don't see him anywhere near the top, though, this year, unless if a lot of things pan out. Our last player, last team on the list is Centurions. I put him here. I would put him here if he had Gabo's team, and I would still put him here for the stupid move that he did for the draft. You don't drop Michael Turner. The guy is getting drafted 5, 6, or latest 7th in every draft on ESPN, Yahoo, NFL, CBS. It's just stupid. It's stupid to take the guy that you drafted way early in the first year, and then you're not even keeping him this year. It's a dumb move. He's a top-tier running back. You can't replace him. So you're already at the bottom, and it's not even just that. Your team's not very, very good either. Your quarterback, Peyton Manning, stud. He's always top 3, always top 4, always top 5 as a quarterback. He's one or the other. He always has the chance to be the number 1 fantasy quarterback. The problem is, if you actually get in the playoffs, where's Peyton Manning? He's nowhere to be found because he doesn't play. The Colts always will be ahead. They always rest their starters. He's a no-go if you get to the playoffs, which you won't, so you don't have to worry about it. Pierre Thomas from New Orleans, he could be huge, but they do like to have a lot of split running backs. He'll get a lot more carries. That's going to be your bright spot. But as your number 1 running back, it would have been great if you had Michael Turner with him. You would have been middle tier. You would have been challenging for stuff, but you don't. Ricky Williams, he's the second guy in Miami. He's your second running back. Again, not good. Jonathan Stewart is your flex. Jonathan Stewart, great, but you never know. He's just like D'Angelo. He's going to get points for you, but it's going to be all in 1 week and then not a lot in the other week because the other guy will take over. So it's going to be an up and down for him. Your receivers are strong. You got Larry Fitzgerald and Megatron. Megatron had a down year last year, and yet he was still 8 points a game. We'll see if that continues. It depends on Stafford. Larry Fitzgerald, unfortunately, one of the I think the second best receiver in the league. He's got Matt Leinart or Derek Anderson, and it looks like Derek Anderson throwing to him. Sorry, he's not going to be a top 10 receiver. I love him, but he's not going to be a top 10 receiver. And your bench, strong. Ahmad Bradshaw is going to end up starting for you by the end of the year. And I think Yeah, that's about it. Steve Slayton's going to be a bust, buddy. That's it for my picks and my rankings. If you didn't like them, I'm sorry. Just beat me in the season, and I'll maybe take it back. Good luck, and I will see you guys with Week 1 preview coming up soon.